What's up, guys? Today we're going to be going over just a few mods that I've done and that I think a lot of people should do to their 7665 Republic Cruiser. So as you can see, I have done quite a few mods on this set. Currently I'm in the rudimentary stages of modding it. I have the few things that I want to go over that I know are complete, but then I have a lot of things on this set that I'm currently still modding right now that I still need to change. So a lot of this looks a little rough around the edges, but the few things I want to show you we'll get into right now. And I'd like to give a little warning before this starts. This set is pretty big, even inside. Like, I have a pretty massive light box. It takes up a whole lot of space in here, and this set inside of it makes it look a whole lot bigger, and it's really far away from me. So if I accidentally bump the camera here or there, or maybe bump the mic once or twice, if you wouldn't mind, excuse me for that. I'm still kind of getting used to reach my arms all the way through there without knocking over everything. Alrighty, guys, so now we're going to go over this first little one, and it actually has to do with the head of the entire ship. So when I first bought it when I was really young, I've had two of these sets now, the one you see before you, and one I had when I was probably like 6 or 8. Like, this was one of my first Lego Star Wars sets, one of my fondest memories of Lego Star Wars sets. And when I was playing with it a few years ago when I bought this one you see before you, I noticed that the head sagged quite a bit because it has this escape pod play feature inside of it. And I wanted a way to retain the play feature because I like that I can drop this escape pod out of the ship. And I wanted to retain that play feature, but I also wanted to eliminate the head sag. And obviously the no-brainer idea for any Lego builder would be to just put some plates going across the top connecting the two sections. And yes, that'd be great, but like I said, I wanted to retain the play feature, so I still needed these two to remain as separate pieces. And it was actually quite a simple solution. It's just with a little like clip lever thing with a cheese wedge on it. So as you can see at the top there, there's a little notch that this cheese wedge will go into. Let's get the escape pod out and I can actually turn it around for you. There is a little notch that the escape pod will go into. It's actually where the roof hinges right here, and that's where the cheese wedge will fly into. So when this is closed up, you can see there's a little bit of head sag without the escape pod, and then we'll get our escape pod on here. So now that we have our escape pod on here, you can see the head sag is a whole lot more pronounced. It leans forward quite a bit, and you can actually see a little seam just right in between the bricks right there. And that is what I was trying to eliminate. And overall, with just flicking down this little lever, cheese wedge goes inside. There's a small seam there, but it's almost too small to even notice. And now the head sag is eliminated. This will not fly off on itself. This lever will never just fly up on its own. It's a pretty sturdy connection right there, despite being so simple. And realistically, the set by default to do this mod, you'll only need these 3 pieces to actually complete the mod. Maybe you'll have to dig out a piece right here to clear that divot, but overall you'll just need these few pieces to lock it in. Real simple, real easy, and it eliminates the head sag while retaining the super fun play feature that we all like. So this next mod is actually just right behind the head and right behind the escape pod area. And this one, it's kind of a vague one because it covers a few different parts on the ship, but it's fill up the empty space. So I don't expect a lot of people to have just a crap load of bright red bricks laying around to fill in all the empty space, but luckily I had the older set I was able to source from. So I just kind of cleaned up this empty space behind the escape pod, make it seem a bit more full, like the ship was really like a frigate, it's a cruiser, it's armor plated. There's no real empty space, and even on the little panels here, I did get an angled piece and a 2x3, and it's almost seamless with the side of the ship. It does still open a little bit, but it is almost seamless with the extra bricks we put in there, and just the set by default right there. And of course, this mod goes for both sides of the front end, and it also covers the rear, so we'll flip it around and get a look at that. Alright, so this shot is going to be difficult. How am I going to hold this one? So the best I can do is just kind of hold it where it is right here. But as you can see on this empty space back here, there was a whole lot underneath that tube that I just mentioned. So I filled that in with actually a spring-loaded missile. This set doesn't have a lot of light gray on it, but luckily the majority of the light gray that is on it is sitting at the bottom. So it kind of blends pretty well, and then it goes into the dark gray, which I built up everywhere else. But I just wanted to eliminate this big gaping hole that was sitting right here. It has nothing to do with play. This doesn't improve the durability of it. In fact, it adds a whole lot of weight to your set, but it does make it look a whole lot more finished and a whole lot more clean on the underside. One thing I will note though, if you do like the antennas spinning up top, these do bump into the bricks down there just a little bit, but it does retain the antenna spinning play feature. But overall, those were the 2 spots, both on pretty much just on the front and back of the fuselage of the ship. Those have the 2 biggest holes there, and if you have the red bricks, I would recommend doing red on the back as well. But since it is kind of towards the engine area of the ship, you can go a little bit more industrial with some dark grays and such. So the set by default does come with a carrying handle, but for a guy like me, I don't have fat fingers, but I do have long fingers. So when I was trying to reach in and curve around it, I was really hitting my hands on the top of the ship a lot, and it was pretty uncomfortable. So I always had to C-clamp the side of the original carrying handle rather than put my hand underneath and lift up. So all I did was just raise up the original like stock carrying handle. The way I've done it, as you can see, is just with some Technic bricks. If I had more Technic beams like the set comes with, that red angled one there, I would use that, but I haven't quite dug those out in the collection. But now, it now sits way higher above the ship. I can hold it a whole lot easier. A guy like me has no problem getting my hands in there. And in combination with the weight we've added on the back, it now sits more level when it's in the air. It still does tilt forward towards the escape pod end of the ship, but with the weight that we added in the back filling up the empty space, it does help balance it out a little bit. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for the few mods that I wanted to go over in this video. As you can see and as you saw throughout the video, I do have some other mods going on this set. So if you'd like to see a full mod overview of the entire Republic Cruiser, I'd absolutely love to do that. But after I discovered the head sag one, that was pretty much the main one that I wanted to get out to people, because I know it's an issue on both Republic Cruiser sets and a number of other LEGO Star Wars sets that have heads kind of disattached from the main fuselage. So overall, I accomplished that, and then I added in the little bit of detail, finishing up that empty space, plating it up, and still following the color scheme so it looks pretty good and nothing looks too out of place here. But overall, like I said, if you guys want a full mod video, feel free to let me know in the description. And any other mods you want to see on some other sets, or if you'd like to challenge me to make some mods, please do let me know. Other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, fellas.